Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of the common sizes that we use in photography and video. So I'm Daniel Norton, photographer here in New York. I make videos like this about tech, about philosophy and technique. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe. So there's lots of little devices and doodads and things that we use and we put together in photo, but a lot of times we're using kind of standard sizes. And that's important because especially if you're going to DIY things or you have to rig something on the spot or you want to buy various pieces to accomplish a certain task, knowing these sizes will definitely help you. So I'm going to kind of run through them and talk about some of the places where we see them in this video. Nice and simple. If you guys have other things that I don't mention, feel free to shut them out. I'm not covering every size, but these are the most common sizes. So probably, speaking of lighting, probably one of the most common things you find is 5/8 or baby as it's called. So this is this is a 650 pen from Avenger that we're using a C-stand. You guys probably seen this before. This is a baby pen, or as it would be, because this size right here is the 5/8. It'll slide over. This is pretty much used for most smaller types of lighting. So for instance, this dado light right here, or like a flash, most flashes that we might use. Basically this is a receptacle or a female, and this would be male, right? And we put it in and basically we put it on a stand. Most light stands are gonna, have that on top. Baby is probably one of the most common sizes. So again, 5/8 or baby. And you see them everywhere. So like this is a pin to go on a C-stand, right? Here's a C-stand with an arm on it. Well, it's actually a magic finger, but magic finger, also 5/8 because it's made to put a light on it, right? Top of the C-stand itself, 5/8 or baby, right? This is basically the size. So we can put a light on any of these places. It's the most common, like I said. If you had something like a small flash or a speed light, you might use an adapter like this, right? Which is the shoe on top for the small flash and the bottom, baby, right? Very, very common, very, very common. So again, we see them everywhere. A few other examples. I've shown this before, this is a ceiling, drop ceiling adapter, right? You put it into a drop ceiling, you can hang your light from it, right? It has a little thing here. And I'm going to our next most common size right now while I'm doing this, as I unscrew this. It is 1/4 20. So quarter is the kind of the width of the screw, and 20 is the number of threads, I believe, per inch, right? So again, receptacle or female, male puts this together. We can basically, use those sizes. That means that because 1/4 20 is such a common size, I can use this piece with other things that are 1/4 20. Like, here's a smaller one. This is a little brass fitting that came with, I believe it might come with this, right? That's going to give me a 1/4 if I wanted to screw that into that for, let's say, a shorter post. Here I've got, the opposite, or the male, or the male 1/4. This is basically if you want to screw various things together. This is also the size that's in the bottom of your camera, right? So if I wanted to screw this into the bottom of my camera, I could certainly do that. And as it turns out, this width here is also baby or 5/8, right? So this pin is very, very useful because I can put a light on it, I can put a camera on it, I can put a lot of things to it. The other kind of bigger thread size for when you need more stability or more grip is a 3/8 16. So it's just fatter, 3/8 versus a 1/4. Fewer threads, so it's actually stronger. You'll see this less often in photo stuff, but you see it most common in photo stuff, and where probably everybody's seen it on tripod. If you ever take the head off your tripod, it's usually 3/8. The only time it wouldn't be is if you've got like a very, very tiny tripod, but usually it's 3/8, and that's how you mount the tripod head on there. They do make what's called a bushing, which basically you screw onto the 1/4 20 and it makes it 3/8, so it's like a little sleeve. You can use that if you have to in a pinch, and some cameras actually have 3/8 in the bottom and we want to use them there. Adding extra to this doesn't make it any more strong, in my opinion. You're really if you need 3/8, I would try to get 3/8. You can use it as a backup, but if ever possible, get a 3/8 threaded screw if you actually want to build something from there. And the thing is that we see this in a lot of places, right? Not just there. When we talked about super clamps before, the super clamp, while it is a hex, it's also still 5/8 or baby. So any of this baby stuff will fit into the super clamp, no problem. It's the same size. So being universal just makes it so much easier to work with and deal with things and add things together. The other size that I want to cover, which is probably less common in photo, or for most people that do photo and maybe more common in filmmaking, is junior or 1 1/8, which is this size. So this is actually an adapter, baby to junior. Junior is for bigger and heavier things. Generally speaking, junior stuff is, you'll often see it more often as a female because a lot of lights, bigger lights, have a yoke on them with a junior pin. And then the stand itself, it will have the receptacle on there. So kind of like, I'll show you here, it'll disappear for a second. A C-stand, or a turtle-based C-stand anyways, the bottom of it is junior, right? Junior, which means that, I mean, think about it. If the bottom of the C-stand was this, and it went in there, I mean, how strong, it wouldn't be as strong, right? So you got more surface area, bigger, thicker. The bottom of a turtle-based C-stand is female, junior, which means you could take this adapter actually, which is what it's for, or one of the uses, and get yourself a nice floor stand there. So, you know, this is why, again, things are universal, because like if this thing was a different size, right? If the C-stand chose to use, I don't know, 1 1/4, right? It would be thicker, maybe that's stronger, right? But then it's not gonna be the same as everything else, which means stuff becomes less universal, which means it becomes less useful. The more universal stuff is, the more useful it is. So knowing those sizes, right? So we have our baby, or 5/8 is our most common for light stands, etc. Junior for larger pieces of equipment. We've got 1/4 20, which is probably the most common. 1/4 20, which is probably the most common screw thread. You're going to find this everywhere. And 3/8 when you need a little bit more width. With those combinations, you can pretty much mount anything. So when you're starting to build stuff or you want to modify and stick things together, knowing what size they're going to be, it'll be a huge, huge help. So hopefully that was helpful. If there's any other sizes that you guys use more commonly that I'm not mentioning here, or maybe something that's not that common that you just want to throw us a little trivia out there, let me know. Let me know what else you guys want to see. I try to come in the studio once in a while and show you guys some of these more product-based videos. I guess this is product-based. I guess I'll put links to this stuff. I don't know how useful that will be to people, but you never know. Somebody's probably going to ask me in a comment, what's that? So I'll just put all these links in the description so you guys can see. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you get all the notifications if you ring the bell, and I'll see you next time.